Hey guys, this is the Love Where You Live crew, and we're going to take you on a visual journey through our tour of the city and help you understand why you should love where you live. So we're starting off here at Mack Island Park, and we chose this location because this is where we began our journey, only a little bit outside of the city in Conklin. And at that time, it was our first kind of getting together as a group, meeting each other, deciding on our group norms, getting to know each other a little bit better, creating our code of conduct, and getting a general idea of the direction of our project. So, enjoy the ride!
The code of conduct was developed during our Leadership with Buffalo cohort large meeting. And when we sat down with our group for our community action project, we were able to narrow down what our group norms would be. And those group norms really helped us to establish a great foundation to continue on with our project for the rest of the year. Which brings us to our why. By really brainstorming and talking with each other about what our whys are for this community action project, we were really able to narrow down what our project could be. And we love the title, Love Where You Live.
After our first learning day, the Love Where You Live team met at Earl's to discuss what our community action project was going to look like. During this meeting, we focused on what our target group was going to be and started brainstorming and doing research to determine what was already out there for people to access to find out what this community has to offer. During this time, we noticed there was a lot of calendars through different organizations as well as a lot of different apps, but nothing really centralized. So we decided to focus more on how we could centralize this information.
One of the first people we interviewed for our Leadership with Buffalo Community Action Project was Kelsey Stefanishin. She's the Director of Events and Business Development at the Regional Recreation Corporation.
So our next learning day was out at the Anzac Recreation Center, and our group got together to discuss what our next steps might be. We talked about maybe doing a marketing campaign or something along advertising, perhaps linking up with local businesses to do a passport program, and we got a hot tip to maybe link up with Monica Lance, who was working on the Downtown Revitalization Project, and we also decided to meet up with Andrew Wilcox from the radio station, as he is an involved member within this community and might have some different ideas. So I met with Andrew to discuss his thoughts about our community and the events within them, and overall his suggestion was the fact that not a lot of people go. It's usually the same people that are always at events, so how do we reach out to a wider audience? And he brought up Rib Fest, which was a success in the sense that everyone came out, saw large numbers of the community, which was great. We connected with Monica Lance via email, and her recommendations were to see how different organizations have different calendars and why maybe they don't use one calendar. And she connected us with economic development and tourism.
On November 9th, we met at Avenue Coffee. We had a great brainstorming session to figure out the limitations people have to getting to their events. Our focus was to make people's life a lot easier when they wanted to get to the events that they wanted to go. We had a lot of ideas, building a website, building an app, many more, and we decided on building an app. So we reached out to Mr. Saeed Al-Mijdani, the coding instructor at Westwood High. We were trying to see how him and his students can help us in figuring out our goal, which is to get the people of Fort McMurray to their events.
So we're a couple of months into our community action project. So we met here at Stack's Fine Food right after our learning day at Uniform. So we met here and we basically were still in our brainstorming and forming stage of our community action project, coming up with some ideas, continuing to look at all the what seemed like hundreds of apps and calendars that exist in our community. We quickly found that we are experiencing a challenge because we had this wonderful, grandiose idea of this one awesome calendar that would have everything happening in this town. But realizing the technical difficulties that we may have, given none of us are tech savvy per se, to develop a mobile app, we were starting to feel maybe a little like we should move in a different direction. Shortly after this meeting, however, it seemed like a message came from above. We found the Mack calendar, and we felt this was, it came at a good time because it had a name of something that we were looking for, and it actually had the potential to take us in the direction that we wanted to go.
Our December meeting was here at Starbucks, and we wanted to focus a lot on what we could do to build a technological solution to getting events out into the world. Our own calendar, our own app, our own something that would help advertise and let everyone in the community know what was coming up. As we moved into our December Learning Day at the Legion, we had committed to work with Mack Calendar because they were the closest fit to something that was already existing, and we wanted to make that process better, and perhaps we could come up with an app or something from what they already had in place. We also had a meeting with Michael Seeger from tourism, and he had some great ideas on needing to advertise his own events. And there's a few things that we could really work together on, but there were another couple of pieces that tourism really wanted to be very specific in what they were promoting.
At the end of December, we met with Sandy Grandison, and we had an amazing meeting with her where we realized we had a lot of shared interests and decided that we would work together with Sandy to improve and offer our thoughts on the current Mack Calendar platform. Shortly following that, in January, we had our Learning Day at Keano College, and as part of our Learning Day, we worked together to conduct testing on different platforms to see how the calendar would work on those different areas. By doing so, we found that there was quite a few challenges and difficulties navigating through the Mack Calendar, so we compiled our research findings and submitted them to Sandy at St. Aidan Society. It was amazing because within a week she had all of the glitches fixed, which showed that she was willing to work in partnership with us and to achieve the same goals.
Early in January, we were contacted by Sean Robertson with the Get in the Loop app. This was really affirming for us because he had heard about us and he reached out to us to talk to us about our community action project. So this really told us that we were on the right path with our work. Another part of our process was to try to check out all kinds of different establishments in Fort McMurray that have fun events going on. So we met here at 57 North just after it opened to work on our Prezi.
Our February Learning Day was at the Shell Place Red Pole Center, and we discussed a lot of things related to the actual presentation build that we would put together. Another very interesting aspect that came out of this day was the media scrum, where we discussed with members of the media the different points and highlights of our presentation, and it really helped to solidify what we needed to do. Later in the month, we met with the Westwood coding students to discuss some ideas on how to build a web scraping program that might save a bit of time, that would automatically pull details out of events and different web pages. We discovered there were already some of those kind of features available commercially, and we forwarded those to Sandy in the hopes that they would be able to ease some of the time that she spends working on these things and to hopefully let her focus some resources elsewhere.
So we met at Town Hall to discuss ideas of how we could help market the Mack Calendar within our community. One of our pivotal ideas was to connect the calendar with the radio stations. A few days later, we were contacted by Sandy with the Mack Calendar to receive some feedback on a new plugin that they were working on to use to improve the calendar.
Come March, we're a week away from our presentation, allegedly. We came to the library to finalize our presentation. We've spent many hours and a lot of brainstorming sessions to come up with the best way to help this community reach their activities. A few days later, we arranged a meeting with Mike and Sandy so they can form a partnership to advertise and use the calendar through the radio station.
There you have it, how we began with this wild idea of reducing the amount of naysayers in our community and morphing it into a coherent action. It felt very slow through the initial steps, but we trusted the process as instructed and feel we came up with some great results. MackCalendar.ca has some new connections to work with into the future and a stronger platform to deliver from. As more people learn of the wide variety of things to do in our great city, we expect they will all learn to love where you live.